Hare Krishna. Question from Prathamesh Prabhu. How can the finite living entity experience infinite happiness? I've heard that the pure devotees experience more happiness in loving Krishna than Krishna experiences in being Krishna. How is that possible? Can you explain? Answer. There are two different points here. One is the objective analysis and second is subjective experience. The concept of happiness itself is not really subject to be objective analysis in terms of mathematical quantification. We can't really have a happiness meter to experience how happy somebody is. So happiness is an internal experience of emotion, and emotions are not exactly quantifiable. Their outer expressions will be quantifiable, but the outer expressions are not necessarily accurate or honest reflections of the internal experiences. Now, some people may dance, and that's because they're actually happy. Other people may dance because they want to pretend to be happy, and still others may dance because they feel by dancing they will become happy. So, just by dancing, we cannot understand who is actually happy. Just by somebody dancing. So, similarly, the point is that first of all, the concept of happiness is not something which can be quantifiably, mathematically measured, and that's why when we take this further and apply the concept of finite and infinite to it, the concept of infinity is itself not easily understandable for us. So therefore, we cannot simply take mathematical terminology and apply it to scripture. Now, sometimes scriptures do give us a mathematical measure of happiness. Say people in heaven, the heavenly happiness is 1,000 times of earthly happiness. The happiness in Brahma Loka is 1,000 times of heavenly happiness, whatever. But this is just a broad schemata given for us to understand the general levels of happiness experienced over there. That does not necessarily mean that nobody can experience more happiness than that much in heaven, or that everybody in heaven is at the same uniform level, 1,000 times happiness. If humans beings are laughing this much, all heavenly residents have to have a smile that is 10,000 times bigger than that. No, it's not like that. It's a broad schemata. It's not a mathematical description specifically. So that's the first point, that we cannot have objective analysis or apply to something that is essentially subjective experience. But coming to the specific point, that how can we experience infinite happiness when we are finite? Our finitude, our being finite, does not stop us from connecting with the infinite, because the connection is a matter of the heart, and that connection, which is a matter of the heart, is something which we can all experience. So when we connect with the infinite, then, because although we are finite, the connection with which the object with which we are connecting is infinite. That's like a simple example. If there is a pipe, so the pipe is say 10 centimeter in its diameter. Now, whatever, or 10 centimeter or whatever, then there is a certain amount of water that will flow through it. But if it is connected with a tank which hypothetically has unlimited water, then although this particular this particular pipe itself is limited, over a period of time, the amount of water that will flow through the tap will be far greater than what its own small dimension may signify, because it's connected with a source that is unlimited and that is far greater than itself. Similarly, the soul may be finite, but if the sole source of happiness is infinite, and the soul stays connected with that infinite source, the soul can also experience infinite happiness. So this is the principle that we need to understand with respect to Shastra. Now, moving forward, if we go further and look at how the soul can experience, the pure devotees can experience more happiness than Krishna, then the point is that Krishna, there is love and there is reciprocation of love. So the experience, when we offer love, the person whom we love experiences happiness. When that person loves us, we experience happiness by seeing that person's love. So there is a reciprocation in the love that is there. So the acharyas give the example that this is when there is a prema ashray and there is a prema vishaya. So the prema ashray says a bulb. Let's say we have a small lantern or a candle or some object of illumination, and that falls on some other object. So now what happens? There is illumination that that object is giving, but the illumination is falling on another object. And depending on the way this object is positioned, the receiver, the underside of the bulb may not receive as much light, or the lamp may not receive as much light if the lamp is, say, put like this, as there's a direction in which the lamp is going. So if you have a flashlight and the flashlight is focused in a particular direction, the flashlight itself may not be lit, but the object towards which is directed, it gets lit. So like that, the point which I am making is that because Krishna has infinite qualities and Krishna has infinite love which he offers to the living entities, therefore the souls experience immense happiness. And in the subjective experience, souls feel as if we have experienced so much happiness, much more than what we otherwise experience. So because Krishna is infinite, so the souls can relish Krishna's infinite qualities and Krishna's infinite love infinitely. And thus, by connecting with the infinite, although the soul is finite, the soul can experience infinite happiness.